it was the 4th year of the reign of Giles Clark, and he decreed an Ashes series took place in Australia. So Andrew grabbed his opening partner, who was pregnant with his maiden Test double century, presumably chucked him on the back of a donkey, and made his way to Brisbane, because he was of the House of Strauss and the captain of the England cricket team. I guess that is how far I can stretch that biblical metaphor, but hello everyone, welcome to Cric-Mas, to the Cric-Mas Special. What am I going to do here? I was thinking about that. I was thinking, well, a Christmas special would be probably very, very nice for people in anticipation of the Boxing Day test, which will take place in Melbourne at the MCG. And so I thought, okay, this being an Ashes year, let's have a look back at a classic Ashes series. Don't worry, England. I am not going to pick the 2013-14 Ashes. That would be cruel and unusual, given the fact that England are currently, for the second time in history, on the way to being whitewashed in an Ashes series by a left-arm bloke called Mitchell. Also, it is rather hard to get your hands on Ashes DVD box sets that involve Australia winning the Ashes here in Europe. Ashes series where England win, those are pretty cheap on eBay or on Amazon here in continental Europe. And so I decided to go with the 2010 and 11 Ashes series because I actually do own the box set for that one. Includes all the highlights of the 5 tests. Also includes a very, very funny behind the scenes or documentary about the series with interviews including some pundits, some of the players, stuff like that behind or related footage, news clips from Australian media. There is a very, very funny press conference where Richie Benaud is quite annoyed, actually, that there is a lot of talk about Shane Warne having to get recalled. And he's very, very annoyed that no one has asked him if he would join the Australian cricket team. Stuff like that. Kevin Peterson gets done for speeding in a Lambo that Warney lent him. Stuff like that. Michael Clarke getting asked by school children who is the smartest, and he replies that, well, I can tell you that much. Dougie Bollinger is not the smartest. In a very, very broad Australian accent, which is also quite funny. But that is not the only reason I was going for the 2010-11 Ashes. I was also going for the 2010-11 Ashes because I also own this book. And this book is Australian Autopsy, the gory details of how England dissected Australia in the 2010-11 Ashes by, obviously, Jared Kimber. But more on that later. So what are we going to do here? I think we can watch the highlights of the Boxing Day in 2010 from the MCG. That's the 4th test of the series, as is tradition. And I will give you a quick summary if you don't know what happened during the 2010-11 Ashes. Just in case. I know most of you will probably be very, very familiar with what happened, but for those people who are not, it would be unfair not to bring them up to speed. All right, so let's have a bit of a look at the scorecards for the tests, which is I have to recommend or say something nice about Lace DVD, who made this box set. I have to commend them for including a booklet in the box set that actually has the scorecards for all 5 tests in it. So, first test, as I said, took place in Brisbane, and England were looking relatively good. And then Peter Siddle got a hat trick on his birthday, and Mark Taylor had basically a stroke in the commentary box over this. Very, 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 very funny. It's in the documentary, obviously. So if anyone gets their grubby little hands on this box set, that is something to look forward to. Mark Taylor having his stroke in the commentary box when Peter Siddle gets his hat trick. So from there on, England are dismissed for 260 all out. Australia reply with 481 runs all out. So Australia massively in the lead, but from this point, from the start of the second English innings, there are only 2 more wickets to fall in the match. England make a monstrous 517 for 1 declared. The only batsman to fall is Andrew Strauss after he makes a century. Alistair Cook makes his aforementioned maiden test double century. And Jonathan Trott makes 135 not out. The Australian reply is 107 for the loss of another wicket. That wicket is Simon Cattage. Simon Cattage makes 4. Watson makes 41 not out, and Ponting 51 not out. So England can salvage the draw from the jaws of defeat in the first test, which brings the series to Adelaide, the second test of the series, and this is the famous one. This is where Simon Cattage is run out without facing a ball by Jonathan Trott with a direct hit, and Australia slide to 2 for 3, and from there on it is 245 all out for Australia. England makes 620 for 5 declared. And the Australian second innings ends 304 all out. So England win by an innings. In the third test, which is taking place at Perth, a bowler who had made an appearance in an Ashes series in 2009 and was not very good at the time. He makes an appearance. He had a song written about him by the Barmy Army after his 2009 outing in England. But in this test, in kind of a foreshadowy kind of way, he takes a 5-for in the first innings and 6-for in the first innings and 3 more wickets in the second. So yeah, what a loser! Not even 10 in the match. That bowler is of course Mitchell Johnson. Australia win the match by 260 runs, I think. Yeah, so that's a bit of foreshadowing. And what is maybe of interest is that Ricky Ponting injures his pinky finger during this match. So he is compromised going into the fourth test in Melbourne. And we will have a look at the highlights of the first day of that MCG test. Keep in mind, it is that Ricky Ponting is injured, but I thought, okay, the Boxing Day test is coming up now, and the first day of the fourth test in 2010 is for many, many English fans, the finest day of cricket they have ever witnessed. So I thought, okay, let's get into that, have a look at the highlights, and after that, we will hear some thoughts about the Australian cricket team from Mr. Kimber. All right, I have set it up. Here we go. Oh.
Heads is the call.
Heads is the call.
It is heads.
It's heads. England have won the toss. What are you going to do first?
We're going to have a bowl. There's plenty of green grass here, so there's good opportunity for us to take advantage of that this morning.
Okay, and
I'm sorry for a bit of a
yeah, that's right. Tim Bresnan comes in for Stephen Finn. Steve's done a lot of
varying
good work
audio
for us,
levels.
but,
I am
the right form of attack on this particular wicket might be the sort of swing bowler rather than hit deck bowler, so that's the change.
All right. What about yesterday and today and the enormity of this occasion? Is there a danger that it all gets to you and overtakes the cricket?
Well, let's hope not. We're very excited about it. And this is one of the big days in the cricketing calendar. We're very excited to be out here.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if the audio levels dropped a bit there, but yeah, obviously I will have to talk a bit about it. Yeah, so England won another toss, and I think that's what's interesting about this series is the fact that England either won by an innings in tests that were not drawn. They either won by an innings or lost by quite considerable margins. The third test in Perth, where they lost, and spoiler alert, they will win the Ashes 3-1. Yeah, and all three matches they win, they win by an innings. So, yeah, and this is probably, and I have to agree, this is probably the most dominant that I have seen England in Australia ever.
Should be a little bit in it this morning, and hopefully we can take advantage of that.
And a difficult week for you in many ways since losing so heavily in Perth. What have you done to address that?
Look, we had a bit of a chat about it. The key is getting back to playing the sort of cricket we've done for the majority of this tour. There's no reason why we can't do that. There's a lot of confidence in our camp, and we need to transfer that onto the pitch today.
So that confidence is there as strongly as it ever was?
Yes, we're very much looking forward to it, and hopefully for a similar result to Adelaide.
All right, good luck. Go well today.
Thank you.
Ricky, you've lost the toss. Has it changed your thinking?
It was an interesting one, actually. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do this morning. My instincts are always to want to bat first, and we're doing that now. So at the end of the day, it's not a bad result for us.
So you're saying that your instincts were overriding your brain, or how was it going in there?
No. Look, I was going to have a bowl, I must admit.
Well, you have to give it to Ponting. This is an Ashes series in Australia. It's the fourth test, and well, England have won a match. The series is level at 1-1, and I think well, they never won in Australia. The last series down under was the 2006-2007 series, and England got whitewashed there. And yeah, I mean, he has seen some shit in this series. He has seen in the Brisbane test after that hat trick by Peter Siddle. It's all England from the start of their second innings on. Only 2 wickets fall for the rest of the match, and England make 517 for 1. Okay, they lose in Perth, but he should be a bit more rattled, and given the fact that he has a broken pinky, but no, it's punter every bit the mongrel that he is set to be.
But it was one of those real tough calls, I think. Look at the wicket, there's some moisture in it and a lot of grass on it, so we're going to have to bat well now that we've won that we've lost the toss, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
And the most talked about finger in Australia is okay.
Yeah, I've trained well the last couple of days, so been pulling up a bit sore after training, but I'll get through, no worries at all.
That's age, isn't it?
Probably.
What about the occasion? I was talking to Andrew Strauss about it. You've got Phil Hughes and Steve Smith here, for example.
Yeah, rest in peace, Phil Hughes. And yeah, spoiler alert, Ricky Ponting's finger is not okay. In Sydney, Michael Clark will captain Australia, and we will hear a bit more about Michael Clark.
What do you tell them about today, or do you leave them to find out about it themselves?
Yeah, I've just left them alone as I did last week. You know, that's part of the learning curve. I think sometimes the more you try and impress on young blokes, the worse off that they perform. So there'll be a huge crowd here today, and that's a really exciting thing about the Boxing Day Test match in this particular venue. So they'll enjoy it, I'm sure. And if they have the same sort of energy and enthusiasm they had last week, that'll be good for our team.
We talk a lot in sport about the use of momentum. You've certainly got that with you after that effort in Perth.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mark
last week
Nicholas
was
is.
a great week for us, no doubt about it. But we've got to start from scratch again and play with the same sort of attitude and emotion that we did last week. I think that was a difference in us last week compared to Brisbane and Adelaide. So the guys are really aware of that, and they're aware of the standards that they set for themselves last week, and we've just got to maintain it now.
2 games left in the.
Yeah, Mark Nicholas and Ricky Ponting. You have to give it to them. They're pulling out all the cliches that you would expect for a toss interview. Yeah, great stuff there from Punter. Good thing he matured a bit before or since retiring, and he's generally one of my favorite analysts and commentators in Test cricket these days. He's really great. I hated him when he played, mostly because of all the shenanigans he used to be up to. But he seems to be quite a decent bloke. So yeah, well done there, Ricky. Yep, let's have a look. So here we go.
Most talked about series that I can think of, and you're all square. It's good, isn't it?
It is great, yeah. It's great for the series. It's great for cricket, and a position that we're really excited about being in. You know, we want to win this Test match. We want to go back up in the series. So
Well, some more cliches.
Let's confirm those teams because the Australians are unchanged. No place in that side for Michael Beer.
There are
Very
the
much as
teams.
we thought, with Peter Siddle and Ryan Harris going with Ben Hilfenhaus and Mitchell Johnson in that powerful seam attack that bowled so beautifully and effectively at the Wacker. And England do have that one change. Steve Finn, the 21-year-old, 6'8" inch fast bowler,
Yes.
is out. Tim Bresnan, the all-rounder, is in, so that strengthens England's batting. And as you heard Andrew Strauss say, he's they reckon a better bet as a swing bowler on this surface.
And I mean, look at it.
Right,
It's
we've got Phil
15
Hughes
years
on
ago,
screen.
and
Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Well, Phil, we'll come to you first. How's it going?
and Jimmy has already played 56 matches.
Out here, just can't wait to get amongst it.
You've heard about this all your life. I guess this is your dream to be here, isn't it?
Oh, it's a childhood dream. It's one that I always used to watch as a kid growing up, and just to be out here, just throwing my head around the crowd is awesome. It's loud out here, and it's just great to be a part of it.
And hey, you got your pads on. You're only moments away from having to face up. How do you feel about that? Feel good about your game?
Yeah, look, there's a few nerves going around, but to be honest, it's more excitement. Just great to be part of a Boxing Day Test, and just great to be playing for Australia. Test cricket.
Young Steve Smith. Oh dear.
Listen to that reception for England.
Pigster, as the bear likes to call him.
That's as exciting as you expected it might be. Listen to the reception for the Australian batsman.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting seeing highlights, and they include the basically the ceremonies before the match.
You've got to try and keep control of things. And you sort of feel that Australia's continued success has got to come from Hughes scoring
Michael.
runs, Clark scoring runs, Ponting scoring runs, the guys that have been out of form because they can't rely on Watson and Hussey all the time.
Michael Slater. He's also in the documentary, and he is hopped up on all kinds of substances during the interview. I would think. Here he comes, the cyborg, England's cyborg bowler.
I think what you'll see from the wicket this morning is a little bit of tennis ball bounce. There won't be a lot of pace in the wicket. Might seam a little bit, and the odd ball might swing. But it
And one thing I think you should look out for is
is to not get too deep
Kevin Peterson. because I remember him during the interviews, which were conducted very, very close to this series, and he has a normal haircut, which is an improvement from the 2005 skunk haircut that he had. But to make up for that, he has a very, very disgusting mustache. I don't know who told him that would look okay. I don't think you will see him batting on this first day, because I don't think the Australians take enough wickets to bring in the middle order for England in this on this first day. But I think you can see him in the field sometimes, and I think he does have that disgusting moustache.
Good to see Philip Hughes really trying to take the attack to the English early. The crowd are loving it.
Oh yes, Philip Hughes. I mean, rest in peace, Philip Hughes. But it was quite something to see him bat in the highlights in 2009 and 10-11. His productive shot seems to be something like this. It's oh no, Peterson has gone for a full Maulfotze here in on the fourth test, which is a bit more acceptable than the moustache he sports in the interviews in the documentary. But Alex Bowden from King Cricket once said about yeah, Philip Hughes has to go, because Alex Bowden said that his productive shot seemed to be the cut through the slips, which is in cricket is a suicidal option. But yeah, Philip Hughes was something to behold. It was cuts and pulls and nothing else. Oh no, it's Shane Watson that goes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, maybe not all is very, very well with Ricky Ponting.
In that mode this series. So he's due for a bit of luck, the Australian captain. Yeah, he might have gone to the wrong entrance, I reckon. He just walked straight up under the tunnel and straight out somewhere into the city if he had gloved another one down the leg side.
He's very lucky to have missed that, I would suggest, and yeah, for a beefy fellow, the keeper is seems very athletic.
There goes Cook. Wade quickly picks it up. He's got all the time in the world. He doesn't miss by much.
Yeah, Cook looking to imitate Jonathan Trott during the second test there.
It's tough going for the batsman. It's 1 for 19.
But Cook definitely isn't the equal of Jonathan Trott when it comes to hitting the stumps in a very, very telegenic manner. I have to admit, Trott did in the second test.
Yeah, just rolled back, but I think Ponting had it under control. It hit his arm, didn't it?
Ooh. And we are seeing Australia are in early trouble.
James Anderson, he's bowling well. There's a good bowling partnership going on out there.
One of the toughest things in life is to be an opening batsman. You've got a pitch like this one.
Matt Pryor, yeah, he is really, really good during this this series, I would say. I think in 2009 and 2013, he looks a lot less good behind the stumps. Not necessarily with the bat, but behind the stumps. And this is also very, very interesting. In light of the controversy with Snicko. In Adelaide this year, take a look at the review system they use here. That's Hotspot. Back in the day, they used Hotspot, which is a friction-based system where thermic, because in a collision, some of the energy is converted into heat. So there is a hotspot on the bat, which was deemed very, very unreliable. So no one uses it anymore. Now there is just two audio-based systems. One is Snicko and the other one is, well, the sister product to Hawkeye, which does the ball tracking. But Hotspot is gone. Yeah, and that is why Alex from King Cricket said that Yu's productive shot is the cut through the slip cordon, which he likened to the suicidal option. I would call it maybe the banzai charge or the human wave attack. Banzai charge obviously used by the Japanese, but the human wave attack is was famously used by the Red Army during the Second World War, which is also basically just running at the enemy, hoping to get a few shots in before getting absolutely thrashed. Yeah, again, late cut. And this time Peterson actually clings on. There we go. And funnily enough, he takes the catch in the Australian manner with his fingers pointing up. I think Ponting made a point of always having your fingers point up during catches. And he was really, really good at catching with his fingers up. I remember in one series there is a catch he takes at about shin height, and he manages to have his fingers pointing up while taking a catch in front of his shins. Yeah, and now Ponting is gone. Oh damn! I mean, if you're looking at that, Chris Tremlett, he looks enormous these days. After he retired from cricket, he really got into bodybuilding and stuff like that. And well, let's call it a horse meat based diet, which is an inside joke in I think the mixed martial arts community, because there was a fighter from the Netherlands called Alistair Overeem, nicknamed Ubereem, which as a German hurts my soul because it should be Übereem or Übereem. There is an umlaut there in Über. Yeah, and he looked gigantic. He's a meat mountain. And when he was asked if he took anabolic steroids to get this physique, he said no, it's all good. I'm just eating a lot of horse meat. And therefore in the MMA community, the term horse meat diet is kind of code for steroid abuse. And after retiring from cricket, apparently Chris Tremlett ate a lot of horse meat. Now you know. Michael Clark. Nicknamed Pup, which was always a very it's a very funny nickname during the later part of his career, when he is not really a pup anymore, but an old man with a very bad back. But yeah, I mean that's basically, there are some nicknames in sports that don't really age well. I mean, when in NASCAR, when Mark Martin came onto the scene, he was nicknamed the Kid because he was a literal kid at the time. But it's always very interesting to see a race from the early 2000s, and that 50-year-old man is still referred to as the Kid by the commentators. Yeah. I think that's just funny. There are other nicknames that are well, tragicomic, maybe, or kind of foreshadowing in a way, in sports as well, because we have a rain delay. Anyway, we have nicknames like Fireball Roberts. He was also a NASCAR driver. He was called Fireball from his youth days when he was a baseball pitcher, and he had a very fast fastball. So that fastball was called a fireball. So people kept calling him Fireball Roberts. He never became a professional baseball pitcher, but he became a NASCAR driver. No points for guessing how he died. Yes, he was in a wreck and he burned. So yeah, it's interesting to see in the 2010-11 Ashes James Anderson being very good in Australia. He is he's really good in this series. I don't think he's the leading wicket taker, at least not at this point. Stephen Finn is, and he is left out of the squad, which is of this 11. He's rested, which is. Which was of some concern at the time, but yeah, Anderson always had a reputation of not being that good down under because of his style of bowling. There he is, Brad Haddin. One of the quintessential Australian wicketkeepers, basically. Brash, has a bit of an attitude problem, I think sometimes. Bit of an asshole, to be honest. And I think that has persisted a bit, to be quite honest, because he is hosting a podcast on YouTube with Alyssa Healy, I think. And he's a bit of a, I don't know, Australians are very, very, very proud of their, or they pride themselves on being blunt and honest. And yeah, no, he's a lot of the time he's just offensive and a bit stupid while being offensive, which is not a good combination. When you are offensive, you actually need to be very, very smart, and we will see some of that combination later on in this Christmas special. We'll see a bit of that combination when we get into Jared Kimber after the first day of the fourth test in 2010. Ooh. Very, very faint edge there by Jimmy Anderson. And yeah, spoilers. I think did I say it? Spoiler. Ricky Ponting's finger is not fine, and for Sydney, Michael Clark will actually captain the Australian side. If you want to know more about Michael Clark and his career, you can always listen to the excellent special episode of the Ridiculous Ashes podcast, which is a supplemental episode for the 2013-14 Ashes series. That's about the career, the life and times, if you will, of Michael Clark, with Dan Liebke, Alex Bowden, and Adam Collins. It's a cracking episode. So this is, I have to point that out. That is 77-47. This being in Australia, obviously the scorecard is a bit weird, but that is what we call in Germany a Schnapszahl. It is only if it is at least 3 digits, and if all digits are the same, it's called Schnapszahl. Schnaps being obviously a distilled spirit, and Zahl being the German word for number. I don't really know why we do that, but I can assure you we do. We call it Schnapszahl. On with the show. Oh, how they laughed about Mitchell Johnson during this series. There is a portion of the documentary in this box set where there's an English pundit. He was the Guardian cricket commentator, cricket correspondent at the time. I think his name is Mike Selvey, and he's amazed by the fact that Johnson swings the ball in the Perth test, because he reckons that Johnson's wrist position is wrong. He can't get his wrist in a position to swing the ball. So when Johnson swings the ball in Perth, Mike Selvey is dumbfounded, really, and he says as much in the documentary, in the interview that the documentary makers are having with him. A duck for Mitchell Johnson here. He is generally one of the more fun tail enders or bowlers to watch with the bat. So this is the I think it's the post-tee session. There is Peter Siddle, who famously got a hat trick on his birthday during the first test. Steve Waugh and probably his son.
Where's the grit? He'll be very aware that this Australian order has lacked grit. It's lacked technique. And the English bowling hasn't. And that's edged as well. It's picked up. Is it picked up on the full?
And yeah, Peter Siddle, not the best batsman. What was the nickname the Gorillas gave him during the 2019 Ashes because of his veganism? Potassium Pete, I think, because he was spotted eating a banana. He was spotted eating a banana during one of the tests. So, in a reference to Bruce Springsteen's Pistol Pete, he was nicknamed Potassium Pete.
You add in the fact that Swan didn't seem sure. That looks like it bounces just before his fingertips. So I think all will be well for Peter Siddle.
Oh yeah, he survived. Yeah, so I have to admit I haven't watched the highlights of the 2010-11 Ashes in quite a while. But yeah, it's kind of weird to think that this is the last time that, or not this match exactly, but the next one in Sydney, is the last test that England won in Australia, and it's a few days time, and this these pictures will be 15 years old. The last player in the current series that participated in this series is Usman Khawaja, and he will debut in the next test. He will debut in Sydney. Makes you feel old, kinda. But you have to see the positive. I feel privileged to have witnessed this series live. Back in the day, I hadn't found guerrilla cricket yet, or was it still TMS, Test Match Sofa, at the time? But yeah, mostly through scorecards on the internet and through English newspapers at the time in the library. I followed this series.
For the Aussies, all 10 batsmen caught behind the wicket for their lowest Ashes total ever at the MCG. Anderson, Tremlett, and Bresnan revelled in the conditions.
Yeah, so the lowest Ashes total for Australia ever at the MCG. There's a reason a lot of English fans think that this is the finest day of Test cricket they have ever witnessed. And it is a pretty good day from a domination point of view, I would think. Look at Cookie looking so young back in the day. And also Tony Gregg was still alive and doing commentary for the Australian broadcasts. Rest in peace, Tony Gregg as well. I don't think we will see it because it's not. I don't think it's in this match, and it's definitely it's not on the first day of this match. But there is. This is the series where the Bill Lawry could be out, should be out, is out soundbite comes from. And here we see. Oh yeah, he bowled to the left. He bowls to the left. He bowls to the right. And I mean, we can see why Mitchell Johnson is not doing too well here. He is lacking a moustache. He lacks the moustache that will make him unplayable during the next Ashes series down under, from that point of view. There's a very, very, very funny song about Mitchell and his moustache that is on the official Cricket Australia channel on YouTube, and I will link that in the description to this video. I will link the Mitchell You Need a Moustache video. That Mitchell Bring Back Your Moustache, I think, is the official title. But the song alleges that Mitchell Johnson was bowling a bit badly, so he went to DK Lilly and asked him how he could improve, and Dennis Lilly advised him to get a moustache, and from then on, well, the Mitchell Johnson domination arises in 2013-14. There is one of the lines in the song is catches win matches so everyone knows, but tashes win ashes, come on, let it grow. Which I find quite funny, I have to admit, in a well, rather silly way. Yeah. So, 58 without loss for England here. And it's, yeah, I mean, it's always a bit nostalgic watching people like Alistair Cook, who has been retired for 7 years now. So very, very young. He had captained at that time, at that point in time, because Andrew Strauss, in preparation for this series, opted out of the England tour of Bangladesh that preceded this series, and that was the first time that Alistair Cook captained England, because Strauss opted out of that series. Yeah, funny.
It's all right. It's legal ball just.
And Cook are so confident in our ability to get this.
Tony Gregg, Bill Lawry on commentary. I don't think Shane Warne at this point is on commentary for the Australian broadcaster, which is quite funny, because in 2009, the series preceding this one, the Ashes series preceding this one, he is on the Sky commentary team. And yeah, there is a point where he's just being a sleazy old man in the commentary, and Nasser Hussain has to rein him in, and yeah, because he's looking at a woman in the crowd, and she's jumping up and down, and Shane says something like, "She's having fun," and there's a pregnant pause, and then he continues, "And I'm having fun watching her." And at this point, Nasser Hussain chimes in with a very, he's absolutely certain that he has to rein Shane in here, otherwise Shane is getting to enjoy himself a bit too much, and he's steady, Shane, steady, with that schoolmaster type of tone. Steady, Shane. Steady. Yeah, but I don't think he's in the commentary team for the Australian broadcast here. Yeah.
And England and none for. These guys log on and bowl about 60 balls in the nets.
So as I said earlier, yeah, England win this match. They win it by an innings, as they win every match they win on this tour by an innings.
There's the program. That's been the official program right the way through. It's been there's the, I suppose, the Melbourne edition. History will be made. England keep moving in this direction because they are working overtime to keep the little earn.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting that England fans are so defensive about their team's performance in Australia by always pointing out that Australia have not won an Ashes series in England since 2001. That was the last time they won an Ashes series in England, which is true, but England have not won a test match since 2011 in Australia. And the last time they won an Ashes series was 2015. Anywhere in the world. Yeah, that's pretty creative fancy dress in the crowd by some of the Barmy Army wives, I think. So, and another 50 here for Andrew Strauss to not let Cook get away and reap get all the accolades. I think England lose one wicket before the end of the day, but I can't remember who it is, who the first wicket to fall in this MCG test in 2010 is. Let's have a look. Let's see who wins. Oh, there's Phil Hughes at short leg. Yeah, I apologize for some audio glitches. I have to use the VLC media player for this kind of stuff because I think the normal Windows media player won't let me play this DVD because I don't think that the region code or the region is correct, and so Windows media player won't play that. VLC is a very, very good alternative though, because it just ignores anything to do with region. Oh, and yeah, only 10 wickets to fall on the first day. None of them English. So.
James, great day. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Let's have a look. We'll listen to the Jimmy Anderson interview real quick. It can't be that long, and yeah. We'll stop with the highlights there, and we will then go to Jared Kimber's book. So let's listen to Jimmy.
Yeah, turned out to be a great toss to win for us, and I thought we bowled beautifully, and then backed it with a bat.
Can you believe Australia all out 98? You've already got a lead of 59.
I know it was an amazing day's cricket. Like I said, I thought we bowled fantastically well. It can sometimes be hard when you win the toss and bowl. You sort of expected to get wickets, but I thought we were really patient and just hung the ball in the right areas often enough. And today we got the nicks, whereas the rest of the series we might not have been getting those nicks. And then we batted brilliantly at the end of the day.
I think the combination of all the bowling was disciplined. It was in partnerships, and that built the pressure.
Yeah, it was. There was no release from either end. I thought Tim Bresnan did fantastically well coming into his first test of the series, and Chris Tremlett following on from Perth was great again.
Yeah, Chris was outstanding. The height, did that have a huge advantage on the pitch?
Certainly with the hard ball, I thought so. You saw with the Shane Watson dismissal, hitting the shoulder of the bat. I thought it was a really good delivery, and Pontings as well. But to be honest, when you're 6'8", you're going to get a little bit of bounce out of any pitch.
And having Broad out of the side, that was a big loss. So to have someone like him come in, as well as Tim Bresnan, is it's handy to have those players in the wings.
Yeah, it just shows how strong the squad is. To have someone like Tim come in after 3 games and bowl as well as he did is a credit to him and the squad that we've got.
What about you, mate? Your form's been outstanding. You look to have matured a hell of a lot since last time we saw you in Australia. Bit of stick with the Aussies. Was there much said today?
Not really, no. Yeah, there's. I mean, it's an Ashes series. There's going to be a bit of competition out in the middle. I'm trying to win a game for my team, and my natural sort of character does come out and give a bit of stick to some people. So today it wasn't needed. I think we just let the ball do the talking today.
The atmosphere, 85,000. How was that?
Yeah, it was amazing. I don't think many of us would have played in front of 85,000 before, and it was a great feeling to be able to show off our skills in front of so many people.
Well, it's a magnificent day. It's going to be tough for the Aussies to come back. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, it's interesting to hear Jimmy Anderson 15 years ago, and he's a bit less grumpy than during his later days, I would think. But well, that I would say that concludes the highlights portion of this Cric-Mas special. We will be back when I will do some rearranging, and then we'll be back with the book. So that's the highlight part of the special done. Let's get to the book now. And maybe some of you know this book, have read it, have heard about it. It's kind of a travelogue, because it is Jared going back to Australia. He's living in England at this point in time, as he still is. And he's going back to Australia, so it's not just a narrative of the cricket, but it's also a narrative of him going back to Australia, meeting friends, family, and all that good stuff. So, I was thinking how I frame this Cric-Mas special, and I decided to go with the biblical thing. The Gospel of Jared and stuff like that, because the only other thing that came to my mind was to do it, or to use the metaphor of Go Trabi Go, which is a German comedy from the early 1990s, about a painfully East German family going to Italy in their Trabi. And you probably know what a Trabi is. It's the most famous East German car. It's not the only East German car. It's basically made out of balsa wood and plastic, and it is powered, if you want to call it that, by I think a 2-cylinder 2-stroke engine, which is basically what's in a Vespa. It's a scooter engine. And and they have named it Schorsch, which is East German for Georg or George. Schorsch. And now thinking about it, I think the daughter of the family, they are mother, father, and daughter. I think the daughter is also called the most East German name for a woman ever. She's called Jacqueline, which in East German is pronounced as Jacqueline. Yeah, and I didn't want to go with that. I'm not really a fan of East Germans, and I'm also not really a fan of the Trabant, except they made a racing version of it. Yes, they did. And I think it would be the most fun thing if they would race those souped up racing Trabis either on these American super speedways like Daytona, Talladega, stuff like that, with the banking, just going around in circles, banking, because the Trabi is so fucking fragile. Every error in one of those high-speed ovals would result in, I don't know, I think 15 deaths, maybe, because if you crash a Trabi, you can be sure that the motor block is coming through the firewall, which, remember, is made out of plastic, and crushes the driver. And on super speedways, the one thing that always happens is the big one, and that's the big crash. The fields are very, very big, around 40 vehicles, and they race in packs. Because on those super speedways, drafting and aerodynamics are king. So they race in a tight pack, all the cars. And if one driver makes an error, that basically means that everyone behind him wipes out as well. So yeah, that would be fun. Alternatively, you could race them in the Bathurst 1000, or at least on the track for the Bathurst 1000. That would also be fun. Yeah. Speaking of NASCAR and the Bathurst 1000, there is video footage of 3-time NASCAR Cup champion Darrell Waltrip driving on the track for the Bathurst 1000. Please enjoy this footage of 3-time NASCAR champion Darrell Waltrip on the Bathurst track.
We're off and we're rolling. That is not possible. That is impossible. That just can't be done. Just lost my lunch. I didn't even have any. This is a geological oddity. This right here is what's crazy. This is crazy.
And now, just to make that clear, Michael Waltrip, 3-time NASCAR driving champion, who raced during a time when these cars went around these ovals at 200 miles per hour or more routinely, is not the guy driving the car. He's the guy in the passenger seat, screaming and shitting his pants constantly. So that's fun. But now back to Jared Kimber's Australian autopsy. A word of warning. If you took notice of Kimber when he started his Good Areas YouTube channel, when he went onto, or when he got hired by TalkSport, when he started doing real commentary, this is a very different Jared Kimber. A musical analogy would be, okay, if current Jared Kimber, if Jared Kimber were Blind Guardian, current Jared Kimber is Nightfall in Middle-earth. This is Battalions of Fear. if Kimber were ball thrower, current Jared would probably be something like mercenary. This would be in battle there is no law. And for the film buffs, current Kimber would probably be, well, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is either bad taste or Meet the Feebles. Anyway, I'm not going to read the whole thing about the first day of the test, because this is it's too much. It's kind of a travelogue, but I will read something about Jared Kimber's views on Michael Clarke in 2011. For the first time in the series, Michael Clarke did a press conference. His career was at an all-time low. Considering he'd been dropped before, that was pretty low. All over the country I'd heard fans tearing into him, so much so that I had to really look again into how I felt about him. Michael Clarke should not be the next captain of Australia. I'd said this for longer than it's been fashionable. And it is fashionable. Other than Justin Bieber, no person in the world seemed to be an easier target than Michael Clarke. Like a manufactured pop star, Clarke's public persona had been planned, polished, and tweaked to be just right. That didn't give much room for the real Clarke to come out, should there be one. He was the perfect modern sportsman in many ways. He helped charities, never said anything controversial, didn't get involved with politics, stayed clear of sex scandals, looked good in front of a camera, and had the clean-cut appearance advertisers liked. He did his job well most of the time. This summer not included. Yet the majority of the Australian public didn't like him, and even some who did like him didn't want him to be captain. Sort of like a young politician, everything seemed to have been carefully mapped out for him so that no mud could stick. His relationship with the famous model Lara Bingle might have been the only time he really made a PR mistake, and I thought that relationship matured him very well. Then he broke up with her in such a calculated way that people stopped holding it against him almost minutes after it ended. Even the "I love you, Poopkins" type of tweets he sent to her were ignored. He just had a way of never being the one who had done wrong. He reminded me very much of General Casey in that seminal 1950s sci-fi parody Mars Attacks. Upon learning that he was in line for a very special and prestigious honor, he rang his wife. "Yes, I get to greet the Martian ambassador. Isn't that great?" "Oh, it's a hell of an honor. Didn't I always tell you if I stayed in place and never spoke up that good things were bound to happen?" Clarke stood still and never spoke up. But then they turned. The public did it first. It was hard to have a cricket conversation between three people without one of them being violently opposed to Michael Clarke on every level. When he made runs, he did it only when Australia had already put on hundreds, which was true. He didn't bowl enough in one-dayers, which was also true. He didn't bowl enough, back problems. He was a wanker. Beaches, tattoos, pretty girls, expensive haircuts, photo shoots and fast cars. And he should never captain Australia. My dad's reasoning for why he didn't want Clarke to captain was that he whistled when in charge of the team. Not wolf whistling, but whistling for attention like a farmer to his sheepdog. My dad thought that was about the single most disgusting thing he had ever seen an Australian captain do, although he never saw Warwick Armstrong in the bath. It would be funny if that were the most outlandish reason to hate Clarke, but many had other reasons. Most of them seemed to be class-related. He didn't feel working class anymore. Perhaps he didn't mention the words working class anymore. To me, a fellow child of the working class, he felt painfully working class. He liked fast cars, faster blondes, fancy tattoos, and looking good. I grew up with about 50 blokes who were the same as Clarke. Many of them never made much money, but they still try to hang out in cool places, spend all their money on their cars, and chase women who would look good next to them. They all dressed in designer clothes and attended the clubs where the local celebrities turned up. It's working class. It's just a different breed. It was not even a new breed. Australian cricket fans had been exposed to it already. The name would be Shane Warne. Warne was working class. He also liked blonde women and movie stars, fast cars, and now spent his time traveling first class to poker tournaments. He's also done some work to make his appearance better. The thing about Warne was that we knew so much more about him too. We knew he had trouble keeping a woman, what underwear he liked, that he smoked, that his mom gave him tablets, and we knew that he was the best of the best. Clark may have been the same sort of flashy working class boy as Warne, but his personality had been wrapped up in so much secrecy that even a former teammate told me he only talked to managers, his bat sponsor, and a few players. All we saw of Clark was superficial. Warne, accidentally or not, gave us everything, meaning he came across as human, whereas Clark was like a cardboard cutout. I'm not saying Clark should get involved in a sex scandal, although I couldn't hurt. I'm saying he needs to show the world that he is human. Plus, and this is more important in Australia than anywhere else, he hasn't quite fulfilled his potential yet. Yeah, so I think that's quite a good point to end this, because this is the last test before Clark captains his first. He is the vice captain at this stage in his career, and I think it's a relatively good snapshot of his image at this point in time from Jared. He then contrasts him with Dougie Bollinger, who apparently at the time the advertisers loved, and there are some interesting stories about Dougie Bollinger and his man boobs in there as well. So yeah, this has been this has been over an hour already. So yeah, thank you very, very much for watching my stupid little Cric-Mas special. And if you're watching this, have a nice peaceful Christmas, if you celebrate. And yes, thank you very, very much. We will see each other probably over on Guerrilla Cricket for the Boxing Day test this year. And if we don't, in Germany we have a tradition of wishing everyone a guten Rutsch, because Germans slide into the new year. And guten Rutsch basically means a good slide. So, if we don't see each other in this old year, guten Rutsch, and we will see each other again next year. At this point, I'm basically contractually obliged to do the usual YouTuber stuff and say, if you like this video, please consider leaving a like down below this video. If you are not yet subscribed, consider subscribing, and also consider activating notifications so you don't miss any stuff that I will come up with. It's not going to be all in English. There is some German content on this channel as well, but you can have a look around. There is a very convenient English language playlist on this channel, which you can find pretty easily by looking at the playlist tab on this channel. and there you will find interviews, you will find this video. There is a funny little thing about German language cricket commentary that I did in English, walking you through a very, very famous over of German commentary, which I recorded, admittedly, but I will walk you through it, explaining everything I say in German in English. So, thank you very, very much. Thank you for a good year on this channel. I cracked 100 subscribers, so made it triple digits. That's the first international century of my career. Hopefully next year I can make it a double century, as Alistair Cook did in Brisbane in this series. So yeah, thank you very, very much, and I will see you all when I will see you. Bye everyone.